Okay, welcome. Good afternoon. We are back once more with USC 2024 action here in the finals weekend. It is time for, in fact, that very self-same winners final. It is Virginia, it is New York, the defending champions, Virginia at the 5 seed, New York down at the 7 seed, fighting for a guaranteed spot in the grand final next week. And I do believe these teams are prepared for an intense battle. I'm this one guy. Joining me is Dio, and good afternoon, Dio. Welcome to the booth.
Yeah, good afternoon, good evening. Here for the winners finals. Happy to be here once again for USC winners finals. I think this is going to be a pretty good match. New York and Virginia, both lower seeded teams than you typically expect to find in winners finals of most tournaments. They are the number 5 and number 7 seed. Of course, no qualifiers in United States Cup. So this is just their overall ranks, but it's a bit deceptive sometimes. These teams have shown that they are very, very strong. Virginia with a couple of tiebreaker wins. New York with a couple of very one-sided wins over their few previous opponents in the tournament. So New York, I think on paper, expected to win this match, but as the pool has scaled up, there is carry potential for a lot of different maps. And somebody like Rectagon, for example, I think it has to be a constant factor in the back of the minds of New York players.
Yeah, Rectagon these days, probably consensus top tournament player in the United States. Definitely somebody you've got to look out for. He is dominant on his maps. You do have Taquito, though, on the side of New York as well, who is capable of doing some pretty crazy things on a variety of maps himself. So, you know, it's going to be that question I feel that we run into in some of these late rounds. You know, is it one player carry potential, or is it going to be team depth? Because the team depth does feel like it goes in the favor of New York based on, you know, their previous week performances. Virginia does have probably the better single player, but is it by a big enough margin to win them the match? I am not sure. That's going to be a tough question.
Yeah, we'll just have to see if it's by that big enough margin, because New York, obviously, with a lot of really good players of their own. To say nothing of Taquito, who I think most people watching this probably already know about. Pez has been on the up and up recently. Twilight kind of flies under the radar, but is a very, very solid tournament player in a lot of aspects, especially regarding gimmick and tapping. Opixe, also a very good, well-rounded player. This is a team where the depth goes a long way, so I think it's, again, kind of a question of if the carry potential is there enough for Virginia, or if the other members can step it up, right? RNG is also a very, very good player, was in on 9 out of the 11 total maps in Virginia's tiebreaker match last week. And, of course, One Tabby also with a lot of very good tournament performances recently, with the rest of the roster, kind of filling out the lobby on a variety of different picks. Those three, though, Rectagon, RNG, One Tabby, really forming the core of the Virginia roster.
And I think one thing that's interesting to note, we do take a look, obviously, at last week's, comparative performances. They had 4 maps in common. Now, New York only played 7 total maps. They had a 6-1 win versus Virginia, who played 11 in a tiebreaker win. But of those 4 maps in common, New York won all 4 of them, and 3 of them were by 500k or more. Obviously, this week, a bit harder pool is going to scale a bit more, but when we talk about the depth, like, that's what we're talking about, right? The team gap between them being that big. Yeah, Rectagon was the 3rd top performer overall for last week, but Taquito was number 2, and New York had 3 other players in the top 20 as well. So I kind of want to favor the depth. To me, it feels important, and when you've got Twilight playing as well as you've got Pez on a crazy run this summer, you know, just having Rectagon starts to feel like a little more dicey for Virginia. But like you said, I mean, you gotta play the match out to see what happens, and there are picks that are potential solo carryable. We saw that happen a couple times yesterday. We saw Window Life solo carrying maps for NorCal. We saw Utami solo carrying maps for SoCal. So Rakigan's going to need to do the same thing, and he's coming off of a brutal, nearly 3-hour-long bracket reset grand finals in Res Cup. He and Taquito were both in that match. So, is it a matter of they're super, super warmed up from a couple hours ago, or is it a matter of, man, I'm exhausted from playing a 3-hour-long grand final already today? Kind of curious to see how that aspect might affect things as well.
All right, let's see how that ends up shaking things out. Just getting out of the warm-ups soon here, so maybe we can start talking about the pick ban strategy for these teams. New York, it feels like, with a pretty wide range of options for the most part. You have some very good speed players on the side of New York. You have a couple of very good reading players on the side of New York as well, whereas for Virginia, I think a lot of the options feel maybe a little more limited to some of the more mechanics-focused maps, the screen maps, the aim maps in the pool, alongside maybe something like the alt picks. But it definitely feels kind of tough picking into this New York roster. Again, going back to the roster depth, right? If you have a lot of people who are generally very solid in tournament, it becomes a lot more difficult to pick into a roster like that because it feels like everybody has something that they are good at on the opposing.
Yeah, I do feel that the pick ban is a little bit easier in a way here for New York, just because they have so many options available to them. They're a very difficult team to attack for Virginia's side, and they have a lot of different options themselves. And wow, that was speedy. So it's going to be second pick New York, second ban Virginia, and the instant Nomad 1 ban from New York. So they do not want to give Virginia that precision Nomad 1. That's a CS9 map. And a very quick one, and a very quick response of the hidden 2. That's one of those hidden picks that are very technically demanding. It's the slider aim pick that's like just got Taquito written all over it.
That does make a lot of sense for those first couple of bans. New York not wanting to play the precision map, Virginia not wanting to play the hidden tech into New York. I think as well, you can probably expect maybe a free mod 2 ban from Virginia here. A lot of good low AR, easy reading players on the side of New York. Maybe a Nomad 5 ban because of that. There's going to be a free mod 4 ban from New York. In the meantime, Sputnik now banned out, not wanting to play that against Virginia. I do think Virginia's free mod roster on Sputnik is probably pretty solid. So it does make sense for that one.
Notably, Sputnik has been banned in all 3 matches now. 100% ban rate so far this weekend. Probably going to maintain it. Potentially going to maintain it in the last match of the day. NorCal and SoCal were the ones to ban it in their respective losers matches already. So curious to see if we get one of them banning it again against the team against their counterparts in state. And the Nomad 2 is going to be the final ban for Virginia. So I don't know that there's anything I 100% anticipated to be banned necessarily, but I am not super surprised by anything except maybe the Nomad 2. I don't know that felt like a necessity. That's just a long, slightly awkward alt map. There isn't, I don't feel like a part of that map that screams out one team is better than the other at this. So I'm kind of curious where that came from.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a little curious exactly what the thought process is on that Nomad 2. It is going to be a Nomad 4 first pick, though, for Virginia. So going into something a little different here. I believe this is a Scream Stamina pick, if memory serves.
Oh, and this got ranked 3 days ago, which means now it's going to be, I bet, messed up in the client. I don't know. We'll see here. Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's good. Yeah,
good.
This is a Nomad 2 in the Nomad 4 slot. So
thank you, Dada.
This is just, Rectigon And I think actually, with the bans being what they were, both these teams got some stuff that they are going to be very pleased to have available to them, right? The Nomad 4 is still up. The Hidden 3 is still up. Hard Rock 1 is still up. All of the DTs are up. Like, there's a lot of the mechanic stuff that I think both of these teams kind of liked, but especially New York for the speed and especially Virginia for the streams. As well as some reading that I think New York is going to be quite pleased to have available to them. So a lot of options in this pool that I think both these teams are quite pleased to have available.
Yeah, definitely agree. The Nomad 4 here for Virginia definitely strikes me as something that maybe could have been a potential ban option for New York, alongside something like the Hard Rock 1. So definitely some good picks left open for Virginia here and for New York. I mean, stuff like the Fremod 2 is still open. Stuff like the DT4 still open as well is a very good pick for them. So there's been, I think there's a lot of maps left up that are very good for both teams right now.
Well, we're going to start off with one of those maps that seems pretty good for Virginia. It is the Nomad 4, BTMC failing, and Rectagon. Has Freddie Benson and Taquito. Very strong tapping rosters on both sides here. Virginia perhaps a slight bit superior on the flow stamina versus New Yorker, maybe a little bit stronger on the raw speed. We'll see how that suits them as we get underway with our winners bracket final. Winner of this one goes on to that grand final, gets a guaranteed top 2 spot. And loser of this awaits the winner of SoCal versus NorCal for the losers final next week.
All right, let's get into it. This would be the first time a top 2 finish happens for New York, I believe, ever. And for Virginia in quite a few years, I think since 2021, if memory serves.
Virginia won last year.
I might have not followed the history quite closely enough. Just maybe. Virginia did indeed win last year. I might be a bit ill-informed.
Oh man. Well, be that as it may, this would be all-time best result for New York. I don't know if they've actually gotten a top 3 even. I forget offhand. I need Yoshi Lover here. It is going to be the break from Pez, first of those longer full combos to fall. BTMC Rectagon holding along with Taquito. Advantage Virginia through 1/4 of the map.
All right, the longer they hold, the bigger this advantage gets. Still going strong for the 2 FCs out of BTMC and Rectagon. Taquito still holding for New York here. The recovery happening across the board as well during this section. Nobody finding any further breaks. There goes Pez, though. First to drop another break for either team. And it's into another one of these longer stream sections now. So a lot of combo right afterwards to be picked up for everybody else on the support failing. Happy to pick that up for Virginia. Those FCs still going means now an almost 150k score lead for Virginia right now. New York, again, still the FC, 99.74 AC for Taquito. Good recovery on Freddie Benson as well. There goes Rectagon. That's one of the FCs gone now for Virginia. So these supporting combos need to hold now. BTMC on the FC. Now the only combo left is failing, also drops. Freddie Benson will trade it on the side of New York, but that's not enough to even this out. Taquito and Pez both still holding, but another chain miss for Freddie Benson and a miss from Pez. It's now just the 1v1. BTMC and Taquito on the full combos. 100,000 points separates these teams on the Nomad 4 here. And Virginia on their first pick, resting on the shoulders of BTMC on this stream pick.
And of course, the best known skill set for BTMC. No real surprise to see him performing this well on this pick. Likewise for Taquito. But who can hold their nerve? And also, importantly, what kind of backing combos are going to stay alive as we see failing falling once more. Pez and Freddie Benson are really starting to build back up, and there's another chain miss from failing. And if the 1v1 holds between the FCs, this might just come down to the backing combo, and the FCs are just going to be chillin' matching each other because those scores are nearly identical. And there goes Taquito, BTMC holding on, and that is probably just going to confirm this point for Virginia on their opening pick.
Yeah, there's still the combo on Pez and Freddie Benson, but another couple of chain misses come out for Taquito and failing, just evening everything up. BTMC finally drops a miss at the end there, but Rectagon's got his back. Freddie Benson can try, but there's just not enough map left, and there's not enough combo to make anything happen. 1.4 million team score, or 140,000, excuse me, not 1.4 million. That would be a hell of a stomp. 140k score lead by the end of it for Virginia, if I get my decimal points right. BTMC on the ending choke there, 930k. Big carry performance for him to start things off against Taquito's 800k.
Really, really good stuff there from BTMC. Getting him in early, getting his confidence up could be an important factor for Virginia here. Didn't play a whole ton, got slightly less than half of their match last week. He was in for 4 picks. And, finished kind of middle of the road as far as performance score goes. So if you can get him going early on some of these maps that really do suit his skill set, could be a very valuable thing for Virginia. They'll still have the Hard Rock one, they'll still have the Free Mod one, as well as the Free Mod 3 to a certain extent. So the options there for Virginia kind of opening themselves up based on how that first pick went. On the side of New York, gonna opt early into the hidden pool, and I think this is a good way to get a couple of early picks, most likely going in their favor. Hidden 1 and Hidden 3 both available to them, and so it's going to be that P model as the first selection for New York, a really strong hidden team.
It's these kinds of gimmick maps that really, I think, characterize New York's depth. They have a lot of very good DT players. You look at Taquito, you look at Freddie Benson, you look at Pez, you look at Twilight to some extent, but then you throw something like this out there, Kirby Mix 7-star AR 9.3 aim control. And again, you look at Taquito, of course, the all-rounder and captain for the team who can play basically anything, usually an OWC player for the USA. But you throw in Twilight, you throw in Emerald Ages, you throw in Opixe on some of the aim mechanics as well, or stuff like this as well. And you have a team that now, despite the lower ranks on some of these members, is still very, very scary on maps like this. So New York looking pretty solid on this one. And we do see a last-minute swap there for Virginia. It's going to be 1 Tabby, Rectagon, and RMG and on this pick for the opposing team.
I'm interested kind of to see how Virginia performs on the New York picks. I think the potential delta on some of these maps could be a little larger than New York on Virginia picks, if that makes sense. But 1 Tabby did well last week. RNG did well last week, so looking to see if that trend continues. But Taquito Opixe Twilight on kind of an aim-focused hidden like this one is a very, very scary roster. So we'll see how they fare on it, see if they can get their own first point on the board in comfortable fashion. Perhaps not quite so last moment as Virginia, running out to the lead only in the last couple hundred combo of their own first pick. New York wants to make a statement, I think, here early on with a pick like this that's suited so well to their roster.
Well, unfortunately, an early miss here for Taquito, going to give the combo lead right over to Virginia with the 3 full combos still intact. Opixe and Twilight still holding their own as well. But right now, cheeky 24k score lead for Virginia as we get into the second quarter of the map. Still very, very early on. A little bit of that wide angle, symmetric, awkward aim. Another break here for Taquito, not having the best time on this pick early on. Some of the aim control catching nobody off so far. And nobody missing on these jumps so far. These horizontals also can be trickier than they look.
And there's a break from Opixe as well. New York down to just the FC on Twilight. Meanwhile, still 4 full combos intact for Virginia. Not at all the way you'd like to see this one going if you're New York. And this is already getting to scary states halfway through the lead, a couple 100,000 points, and just everything about this looking good for Virginia here. Though it's a double break right as I say that. 1 Tabby and Rectagon breaking on the exact same pattern right before the Kickstarter jumps and call out RNG as well. And just like that, New York has some opportunity here. Twilight has to hold, though, because they don't have a ton of supporting combo for him, and they need to bring back 150,000 points. But it looks like that might just be happening as Virginia's kind of falling apart now.
Yeah, Taquito will find another miss for New York, so it's going to help keep the score lead a little bit on the side of Virginia, but it's still going over pretty quick. Twilight and Opixe with better combo than anyone on Virginia. That stream section enough to bring it over. RNG finding another miss as well for Virginia, and what looked very, very good is suddenly all gone for Virginia as a delayed three-way reset comes through once again. Opixe will miss, and it just will not matter. Lead over 150,000 in the favor of New York, and Twilight still FCing near the end of the map here. 99.4 accuracy for Twilight as well here. Makes it through the slider jumps, makes it through that last stream, hits the last jump, and there it is. Full combo for Twilight on that pick. Absolutely necessary carry performance. Taquito and Opixe both below that 500k mark, where RNG, One Tabby, and Rectagon all sit. So without a good pop-off play like that, New York is losing that first pick. So very, very well done from Twilight to secure that point for New York.
Yeah, gave them exactly what they needed on that map. The aim was there when New York needed it most. And, well, Virginia very quickly into the Hard Rock 1, not leaving us much time to discuss the previous map, but we can look ahead to Fallen World Hard Rock, which, when you win this round's Nomad 4 with it being essentially a Nomad 2, no real surprise to go straight into this Hard Rock 1, which is also just a very streamy pick. Notably 220 BPM, so it ups the BPM by a fair amount, and CS 6.5, of course. This is CS5 base, which is gonna just add a little challenge, add that precision in. You saw New York, of course, banning out the Nomad 1, so they got rid of the super precision Nomad pick. With Virginia saying, we are the superior stream map team, and we're going to prove that a couple times here. And we have Metach being the lobby sitter. Almost certainly will not be playing this map. I am fully expecting this to be the same roster as before with BTMC, Rectagon, and Failing. And New York is going to have to answer this. If they give away this type of map, there's like 4 picks in this kind of skill set, or three or 4 picks in this skill set that would be well favored to Virginia if they keep performing as well as they did on that Nomad 4.
We'll see if they're able to capitalize a little later on. It is going to be, of course, the same roster once again for Virginia as on the Nomad 4. New York with Taquito, Freddie Benson, and Pez on this map. Earlier in the weekend, we did see Window Life drop the 6th ever Hard Rock or Hidden Hard Rock full combo on this. We'll see if anybody else can measure up to that in this matchup. As this map, very challenging, has been ranked, of course, approved actually since 2012, and still only 5 Score V1 Hard Rock FCs. So very, very tricky one. Early miss here for BTMC. Looked like a slider break there right at the start. Won't impact too much, but it is a slight combo lead for New York here. Being canceled out by the accuracy advantage, though. There goes Failing, and now it's a couple of combo leads for New York.
And we'll see if those breaks have anything to do with comfort levels, or if it's just a little bit of an adjustment going into the CS 6.5 here. Which is what I would suspect to be the case, more so than either of those players really having difficulty with this type of map. But for now, New York will take advantage of it. We'll have a small lead. Accuracy advantage to Virginia, making it, stay very close. Only a couple hundred combo really is the difference. So there goes Failing again, though, and that's, I believe, maybe another slider break on the, repeating sliders. So not looking the greatest for him. Not quite a quarter of the way through here. Still the 3-way full combo intact for New York, doing what they need to. And there goes BTMC again, but Taquito is the one to trade it, so it's down to Rectagon versus the 2 FCs on Freddie Benson and Pez as we near the 1/3 mark. Not much of a lead at all for New York, about 30,000.
Right now it's looking good for New York, but this is a very long map. We're only a third of the way through. There's still plenty of time for anything to happen. The score lead is still very small as well, only 40k right now in favor of New York. I think the accuracy having a lot to do with that. Full 99. Oh, there goes Rectagon. Missed a jump right before the spinner, misses another one right afterwards, and now that combo lead is huge for New York. There goes Freddie Benson, will trade it. Drops a couple of chain misses actually as well. The accuracy going down once again for Freddie Benson on New York. So it's just Pez versus no FCs on the side of Virginia. The combo lead going to start to take effect a little bit more, I think. I was saying before the drop for Rectagon, that accuracy on Virginia, full 99s versus what was full 98s, now a 97 and 2 98s for New York. 98.9 on the FC for Pez, though. Still looking good. Some supporting combo on Taquito, matching BTMC's supporting combo. So it has to be a break from Pez at some point here if Virginia want to be able to win this pick. Otherwise, it needs to be complete meltdown from the other two players. Here we are in the big diff spike, the longest streams of the map during this part. Failing BTMC, Taquito all breaking. It's Pez, Freddie Benson, Rectigon still holding. But that's just even better for New York, now up to a 200,000 score lead with Pez still holding this FC, now on the 99 accuracy as well.
Yeah, this is just the Pez carry performance. We talked about him, at the beginning of the match as being a huge component of this New York team, and he's been on an absolute tear this whole summer, and doesn't look like that's going to stop anytime soon. Still has that 99 AC FC. Rectigon, the only one to build much combo back up for Virginia, and it's a pretty sizable lead here for New York coming into the last section of this song with Taquito building back up. There does go Pez finally, but with the lead being where it is, it's 300k. You have Rectigon on 1,000 combo, but you've got Taquito and Freddie Benson combining for about 900, so just not going to be enough for Virginia to be able to bring that much score gap back, and we are staring down the barrel of the first break point in this match. Second pick for Virginia. It made a lot of sense to go this way after they won that Nomad 4, but unfortunately those couple of ill-timed breaks are going to be their downfall on the map. And we'll see who can hit the ending here. It's going to be Freddie Benson to hold, BTMC to hold, and New York by 240k. Gonna put the first break point of this match up on the Hard Rock 1, and now Virginia has to question their picks because they had a couple of opportunities, I think, going forward in the stream map vicinity, but also New York has the chance to consolidate a break point for a 3-1 lead. Early momentum for this New York team is pretty scary with how strong they are in so many skill sets.
Yeah, with New York having the kind of depth that we've seen on the hidden pool already, and with New York now already having won a break point, I think this becomes definitely a lot more difficult for Virginia to win here. You see a bit of taunting going on from Virginia. Just wanting to get it out of the way, I suppose.
New York has lost a pick once this tournament, if memory serves. They just had no one in the lobby for him. Like, past the timer by a lot. There was literally no one there. So, I mean, there is a kernel of truth in what RNG is saying. And New York's going to switch it up here. They're going to go DT2, so we're going to get Thiraya, which means they are leaving the hidden 3, which seemed like it might be their next pick, in favor of just a kind of straightforward DT map.
Yeah, this map, I mean, relatively straightforward, does have a couple of quirks to it, but at the end of the day, AR 10.3, 260 BPM aim speed hybrid is really the name of the game on this one. So see how ready these teams are for some high approach rate DT. There are 3 of them in the pool, so if you do have a significant advantage on this, stuff like the DT4 becomes a lot easier to pick. Stuff like the DT3 is a little bit more skill set adjacent. That might become easier to pick as well, despite it being AR8 DT. But New York, I think, on paper, with a very, very good team for this. Again, Taquito, Pez, Freddie Benson is a pretty scary 10.3 DT roster.
Yeah, I think, we've talked at length about New York's relative strength on certain types of mechanics. They even won the flow aim, right? So that mechanical skill showing itself, but also I think you anticipate them doing really well on high AR, whether it's bursty, streamy DT or even slightly more aimy DTs. So I like this pick. And again, like you said, if you win this, you've got other options in this DT pool with DT3, albeit not being above AR10, DTs 1 and 4 being both over AR10 and both being relatively difficult. So plenty of choices. And first and foremost, though, New York, you really want to win this. You really want to get that consolidated breakpoint, build yourself up some momentum in the early stages of the match.
As for Virginia, obviously really want to take that breakpoint back, and putting in the same roster once again here. Rectagon failing BTMC for Virginia. Same roster as well for New York. Taquito, Pez, Freddie Benson in once again, following that Hard Rock 1 for this DT2. So it's a bit of a salty run back here. We've got the exact same roster for both teams, both saying, yep, this is good enough. So let's see how it works out for the DT2 pick here. Obviously much higher BPM than the Hard Rock 1. Much higher BPM, does play like 260 despite being 130 BPM on the sheet and in game. And obviously, but much more comfortable circle size, a little bit more of a jump aim component to this map.
And we've seen some pretty good performances on this map already. I believe it was Kama dropping an FC from Maryland. So see what can happen today as we all hold through the first little kickslider burst section. Start to see the combos building just a bit here. Start to take a look at kind of the comfort level of everyone in the lobby. You've got 599s or better. BTMC the only one lagging a little bit behind on accuracy at 97. We'll see how that continues to play out, but it's the first break from Taquito on the aim. It's traded by failing, however, so nothing gained for either team, and it is still going to stay dead even at the 1/3 spot here. 2 FCs against 2.
All just on the aim patterns here. Another couple of bursts, some more of the slider patterns to follow. Slider is relatively easy in this map, though. It really does come down to just the aim and the bursts in this map. Pez, Freddie Benson, Rectagon, and BTMC all still holding the FCs. Taquito and Failing just matching on that supporting combo. It's just the act difference right now, slightly in favor of New York overall. 99.4 on all of them. BTMC a percent behind that mark, as everyone else in the lobby at that 99.4 margin. So New York just slightly ahead, barely 10K on the accuracy alone, but this can go either way very, very quickly. Oh. Freddie Benson misses in the slow section. He misreads the change between 1-1 and 1-2 jumps, and that is huge here. Failing, BTMC missed right afterwards. Pez also trades it. It's now Rectagon versus Taquito. No FCs left for New York, and Rectagon with control of the map and control of a break point for Virginia.
And this is where that carry performance comes in once more. We've talked about it at length. It's already happened at least once in this very match. And now Rectagon has the opportunity to put the team on his back, but he misaims. And that opens the door back up for New York, who have seen Taquito build up a fair amount of combo, even with that break from Freddie Benson. Taquito is carrying the combo into the last section to possibly make this happen, especially with the assistance from Pez. This score gap should be coming over into the last moments. It's only about 10,000, and there it's going to flip in this bit of combo here. Just the last few seconds of map to come, and the carry is instead going to be Taquito when it looked for all the world like it was going to be Rectagon. Taquito saying, nope, this is all about me. I am bringing this one home, and Pez helping him out. It is going to be New York at this last section of map to hold on to the pick. And they're going to pull out the consolidation of that break point and a 3-1 score lead in the match, 150K. And man, what could have been looking at those scores all around? Rectagon definitely had the map available to him, could have made it happen. Just a slight little misaim, the difference between winning and losing that point.
Yeah, almost the exact same combo for Rectagon and Taquito. Almost the exact same score, 12K apart. The difference really lying in the supporting scores. 650K for Freddie Benson, 720K for Pez, where instead you're looking at 586K for Failing and 612K for BTMC. So yeah, Rectagon beat Taquito, but it's only by 12K. That's just not enough to make up for the rest of the lobby. It's not enough to carry. Maybe you could have said, yeah, if Rectagon FC'd, if he didn't find that miss, I think they probably would have won that map, but just was not meant to be on that one. Virginia saying, though, a salty run back one more time. This time we got it, surely. Into the DT1 now.
I'm very interested by this pick coming off of the heels of the DT2. I'm not sure I quite follow what they're thinking here, so I will have to learn as we go. This is, it's like kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Like geometric aim with a bunch of kickslider patterns as well. And that is another 10.3 also. I don't know, Dio. Like, you just lost the DT2 You just jumped right back into the DT1. Yeah, they're relatively speaking quite different maps, but I'm not sure I follow the logic here. I don't know.
I think it's just the maps are a little different, right? This is, instead of the 260 BPM that we saw earlier, this is around 255 BPM, 254 BPM, I believe. So a little bit maybe better for Virginia. You do bring in RNG over BTMC for this one. I may have swapped out failing for RNG instead, but you never know what the local scores are, right? And obviously Rectagon, a very good captain, so I'm not going to question that decision too much. Taquito actually swapping out Freddie Benson for Twilight on the side of New York, and this is a different style of map, right? It is geometric pattern aim and slider jumps, so it is a relatively different map. But that said, still high BPM, high AR, DT aim is really the main skill set being tested. So is very similar to the map we just saw in that respect. And that's an instant DC from Taquito, so we should be getting an abort.
No, it's just a client.
Or it's just the client.
It's the client. Yeah, that was, I don't know. There's been quite a few client issues lately, so that just can get tossed on the pile. It does look like we had an early traded break between RNG and Twilight, by the way. Right in the beginning. A little bit of combo part. There goes Pez as well. So we got double FC Virginia, just Taquito FCing for New York, but Twilight really not that far behind, nor is RNG. Let's see what kind of combo these guys can build up. You've got Rectagon, you've got Failing, looking quite good so far, and RNG building some combo back. Taquito expected to do quite well on this, and basically anything else that you throw his way. We'll see what Twilight and Pez can accomplish with early breaks. There's another couple misses from Twilight. And you're going to start to take a slightly larger lead out to 100K.
And I actually apologize. This is not 255 BPM. I am a little burned after a long day of commentary and not enough sleep. This is not 170 BPM plus DT. This is 170 BPM after DT. So this is a bit of an alt map here. Failing will trade Taquito, though, also dropping right as Failing does. So once again, RNG matching Pez, and then Rectagon just unmatched on the full combo right now, generating so much score lead for Virginia on this pick. And this is one of the skill sets that we talked about for Virginia before the match started, was those alt picks. This is DT alt, of course, so a little bit different from your typical alt pick. It's a little bit more kind of burst flow aim, but it's still a very, very good indicator for Virginia to be able to put up a solid team score on something like this for the rest of the match's sake, because there's still quite a lot of alt aim control in this match.
Yeah, and we're just watching Rectagon, by the way, trying to see if he can become one of a bare few DTFCs on this map. Into the ending we're going to go. And this isn't just a one-man carry here for Rectagon, regardless of what the score is, because it's just a team gap when it gets to 700K, but that is still a ridiculous full combo to drop in the match. It is a Dance DTFC in match in the winners final. That is the second, third, fourth.
Fifth.
So this is the fifth DTFC on the map.
Fourth. Bartex has a slider break.
Fourth DTFC on the map.
Yep.
As you do. I guess, as you do.
Yeah. Third best accuracy as well. To no surprise, Malashevsky with the best stack on the map. That's literally 1/100. Man is inhuman. But then Kama with 8 100s. So 10 100s with an FC is third best DT AC on the map and fourth DTFC overall. Honor of the last one goes to Vitya 1437. Good old Okinatori. So, yeah, one of a fair few indeed. Very good score from Rectagon, and generates a pretty big score lead there for Virginia on that map. Promising for the rest of the map pool, but they do still have to take a break point back from New York in order to have a chance at winning this match.
Yeah, and you kind of think about, what do you learn from this if you're Virginia? Do you think about the DT4 as an option? Do you think about the Hard Rock 2 perhaps as an option? That is a Hard Rock snappy alt aim map. Not really, any sort of alt in the free mod pool. So despite there being 3 maps left in there, you don't really gain anything in free mods from that pick. So, fortunately for New York, if you're going to have a rough map. This one that doesn't give a whole lot away going forward might not be the worst case scenario. And we're just going to go back to back DTs, I guess. We're going to go New York DT3. Not much of a surprise there either. It's the AR8 DT 270 BPM. New York saying, no, let's just leverage our speed advantage in this matchup that it feels like we have coming off of the Hard Rock 1 and the DT2. Like, let's just keep that train rolling, says New York.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty good pick as well. It's a bit of an older style map. It's not the high approach rate that we've seen on the last 2 DT picks, but it is still something that New York, with a win on the DT2, should feel comfortable enough on. That said, this is still something where you can get that carry potential for Rectigon. It's something as well where I think maybe failing in BTMC might be a little bit more comfortable. Obviously, most players at this rank can play high approach rate, but comfort is something that's a little bit different, right? Really reserved for your DT mains at this higher star rating. And obviously, BTMC, not a DT main, and I don't know enough about failing to say whether or not, but definitely there should be maybe a little bit more comfort in the approach rate for Virginia on this sort of a pick.
Yeah, you know, at this stage in the match in the tournament, like you're expecting the roster construction to be solid. You know, I think I don't ever want to doubt anybody who's in for a pick, regardless of whether or not they may or be a DT main, quote unquote. So give them. I'm giving anyone in for these picks the benefit of the doubt if it feels necessary.
Oh yeah,
and so we will get in. See what Pez can do here. See what Freddie Benson can do here. You know, expect great things out of Taquito. See what kind of support is available. And yeah, as mentioned, BTMC not generally thought of as a DT or speed main, but man, Taquito just evaporated at the start, as did BTMC. So interesting how this one is beginning. These super high BPM streams, 270, very, very speedy. And a lot of players struggling the accuracy down across the board as well. And it's actually early lead to Virginia. I think that's basically just AK on failing and Rectigon, as much as it is anything else, yeah.
Yeah, BTMC a little bit up on AK on Taquito as well, but it's minuscule at this point, and it feels like a lot of that score lead really coming from failing versus Pez. Pez on 96 right now, failing on 98, so a lot of that score lead from the top row at the moment. But it's, again, accuracy only can give you so much score, even on Score V2. And that double break for Virginia, failing and BTMC both breaking on the long stream there, is huge. New York now with what is no longer effectively a three-way full combo. Freddie Benson misses on the ending pattern of that Ki time and finds another miss, a couple of chain misses on the streams right afterwards, dropping a lot of score there. But it is still the FC from Pez matching Rectigon, and the reverse choke from Taquito. You know, only 20 combo behind an FC may as well be one. The accuracy a little low, but the combo is there. The score lead is there for New York.
There's another break from failing, trying to build that combo back up. It is still going to be Rectigon, the player of most importance for Virginia, but New York's lead steady for the moment. I'm very curious to see what happens with Freddie Benson the rest of the way. There's a break from Pez. That is going to be Virginia, by the way, with the combo lead and only 100k separating the team. Still half the map to go. So we'll see if BTMC can hold the recovery combo up. We'll see if Rectigon can hold the FC, as that score gap is going to start to come down. We really needed Pez to hold on for New York to really maintain this lead. And that gap is dropping precipitously as Pez falls again and has a really rough time with that longer stream. Meanwhile, all members of Virginia hang on, and the lead goes over as Taquito breaks. It's Rectigon to trade. But BTMC and failing crucially managed to hold on, and that's a lot of combo for those two coming into the last quarter of the map. The lead should go over now, and there it does.
It's still very tenuous for Virginia, though, just barely within their grasp, as Freddie Benson still holding on to a very good recovery combo at the moment. If failing or BTMC drop, it starts to get a little dicey here for Virginia. So both of them holding can guarantee the win, but that is still a tough ask, this map, with the long streams there near the end. BTMC breaks on the aim because of the strain from the streams right beforehand, And now Freddie Benson with the combo lead over Failing. Pez is going to find another break as Taquito matching Rectigon, so just a slight combo lead for Freddie Benson over Failing is the only thing separating New York from a win. But unfortunately, the map is over. Time is running out very quickly. It's one more quick break for BTMC on the last stream, but not going to matter. 70K score lead for Virginia, and they make it work. 800K for Rectigon, the top score in the lobby. Double 700K for Freddie Benson and Taquito. Solid scores there for them. But Virginia take the break point. The comfort up for Failing, up at 600K. The comfort up for BTMC as well at that 550K. Both of them outscoring Pez.
Yeah, and that BTMC score is kind of crazy to look at as well. I mean, geez, 93 AC. Not the greatest, unfortunately, the AC department, but the combo was alive, and that is really what made that happen. The 550K for him versus the 491K from Pez, despite the best efforts of Taquito putting up the 694K. Just the little differences here and there across the players, you know, it can make all the difference in the world. There was a world where Freddie Benson, you know, doesn't chain miss a stream, and he might have enough score off of the lack of misses, you know, slightly longer combo to carry that one for New York. It just didn't end up happening. And so now, you know, kind of both teams have had an opportunity for a player to maybe carry that ended up just being a team effort loss. And we're all tied up 3-3 after 6 maps. And now we're going to flip it back around. We're just going to continue playing mechanics all day here, Dio, as we go Hard Rock 1, DT2, DT1, DT3, and now into Free Mod 3, which is the 240 BPM speed heavy free mod. We're just going all mechanics all the time.
Kind of down for the full mechanics here. Monochrome Voice by Cosmo Bosov. This is a pretty tough map once again. 7.7 stars, mapped by Frenzy. So it's, again, another one of those mechanics picks. This is a 240 BPM free mod pick, AR 9.8, and CS 4. So I think a pretty hidden favored map. A lot of this pick, it feels like to me, is going to come down to the skill cap on the Hard Rock players. Has to be Rectigon for Virginia, and I feel like it's probably Pez, I want to say, for New York. Maybe they put Freddie Benson on it and have Pez go Nomad, but it's going to be a very obvious Taquito hidden BTMC Nomad here for these teams. I don't know who takes the hidden on Virginia. Maybe Failing. I feel like it has to be either BTMC or Failing to take the hidden, because you know Rectigon's going Hard Rock.
Yeah, well, Failing saying he was forced to play hidden, so there's your
there's
most
my
likely answer to that. Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be BTMC, Nomad, Rectigon, Hard Rock, Failing, hidden, almost guaranteed. New York, yeah, you dropped Taquito on hidden, obviously. Hard Rock, probably Freddie Benson, I suspect. Yep,
and
indeed.
there it is.
And Pez on Nomad. So the anticipated mods do play out, and well, we're back on level playing field, right? You know, we've got best of 7 the rest of the way through now that we're at 3-3. And we're gonna run out of mechanics maps eventually, I promise, but there are still a couple options in this skill set. So it's gonna be this free mod speed map to come. Remember, Nomad 3 is available if somebody wants to coin flip the 30-second tapping map, after which we will genuinely go into gimmick maps because there won't be anything else.
Yeah, I think at that point, it starts to look a lot better for New York. I think Virginia really need a couple of wins here on some of these other mechanics maps. That breakpoint that they just took on the DT3, in my opinion, pretty crucial looking at the rest of the pool. Right now, though, even Stevens in terms of the combo. Nobody having broken so far on this map whatsoever. We're into the first KI time. Mod combos mirrored on both teams, by the way. Freddie Benson and Taquito actually both breaking on the first long stream there. So now 3-way full combo for Virginia, unanswered by anyone but Pez on the side of New York. Another break for Freddie Benson on a couple of those Buzz Slider streams, and this is suddenly looking very good for Virginia. The 3-way full combo still going for now. Once they make it out of this first KI time, that's when you can start to relax a little bit as a viewer if you're rooting for Virginia. Failing will chain miss the ending there, but BTMC and Rectigon both hit it. 2 FCs still going strong here, a 200,000 score lead to boot.
It was big for the chances at all of New York on this map to have failing break and chain this the way he did there, but with a 2 FC to 1 lead, Virginia is not going to feel too bad, but you've got Taquito and Freddie Benson kind of breathing down your necks as a collective with about a combined 1,000 combo on those two. So if Virginia finds a break here at the end on one of those remaining full combos, as long as Pez holds, there's the chance. But for now, BTMC, Rectagon just both looking so comfortable. Yeah, they're in the 97s range, but you're holding FC. Wait a minute, it's a misaim on that burst from BTMC. Oh, but Freddie Benson traded it out. However, that's still a 700 combo to get over, but it's not going to be enough time, I don't think, right? Even with the combo density at the ending, you're not bringing back 200,000 points in what's left of this map, unfortunately enough, as everyone breaks on the end except Rectagon, because that flow pattern
Freddie
is
Benson.
Absolutely brutal. Yeah, Freddie Benson. Okay, he had 200 combo, true. And but anyway, it's going to be Rectagon Hard Rock FC. That is a play and a half. That is very, very impressive stuff from the man who has just made himself kind of the main character, the protagonist of Osu tournament play in this country over the last couple years. Just continues to put on ridiculous performances, and there is yet another one to add to his collection of full combos in late stages here. And it puts Virginia on top in this match for the first time since they were up 1-0.
I have a very interesting statistic for you, Aaron.
Okay.
Can you guess how much that Hard Rock FC is worth for Rectagon in terms of performance?
It better not be what I think you're gonna say. I'm gonna
it's
jump
not.
out a window.
It's not.
Okay, well, the way you introduce that, you can understand me thinking that.
I do. Just note this map is 8.18 stars after Hard Rock. Chat, take some guesses. 97.88 act perfect combo.
It's like not even 700 or something, right?
Chat's guessing just under 700. It is 625.6 PP.
Nah, that's not okay. It's that
626 PP.
Like, I am the first to say that I think speed is an overweighted skill set in general, but that still seems like it's not worth as much as it should be for some reason.
It really is not. I don't know what happened there, man.
Like, why is this one particular speed map not worth what it is expected to be? I don't understand. Because I was thinking, like, man, Rectagon's going to be setting, like, just a crazy PP score on this if he holds this FC. Nope, it's good, but not anything special. Maybe it's length, I guess, because it's only 2
maybe the
long.
as well on Hard Rock, right? It's OD10,
yeah.
So 97.8, maybe a little low for it to be high value, but yeah.
Ooh. Yo, some spice has been injected into this match. At long last, after 5 straight just mechanics tests, we're going the complete opposite direction. Like, just forget everything you knew about this match, because we're going AR0.
Yeah, this map is AR0. It's not quite like those clips that you see on Twitter of somebody playing a map and all the notes are on the screen at the same time. That would be AR negative infinity, but it's as close as you can get on stable.
When are we getting AR negative infinity on stable? Peppy, please. Or at least on laser? At least on laser, so that in laser tournaments you could do it?
Yeah, I would love to see Liswira play some AR negative infinity on tournaments in laser.
That'd be so sick.
Pretty chill.
Anyway, though, this will bring in some new players. It's going to give some of the mechanics players a little bit of a break, because you're going to see Metach coming in, you're going to see Emerald Ages coming in. You know, you're going to see the players who are in for everything switching up their skill set quite drastically, as you have to go from speedy tapping over to low AR reading. And it throws quite the wrinkle into the match when you take this sort of direction. It's going to, you get one tabby coming in as well. Like, a lot of changes with this map being chosen, and I like that as just a big right-hand bend in the road here that New York has decided to take us down.
If anything, maybe they can throw off Rectagon reading on higher approach rate stuff if Virginia wanted to go into some Hard Rocks or something, because obviously Failing and BTMC not going to be in for this one. Natosh and one tabby instead. The roster here for Virginia, alongside Rectagon, of course, Taquito, Twilight, and Emerald Ages in for the first time this match for New York. Emerald Ages shouted him out at the beginning of the match. A very, very good low AR player. That can be said for most of the players in this lobby right now. And Low AR is kind of a facetious term for something like this because AR0 is not something you play even if you play easy on a regular basis, which this map is CS2, so somewhat simulates that easy. Definitely reading does play a part. Twilight, the first to find a break here for New York, but a lot of this, I think, is just practice difference and how well you can handle something ridiculously dense like this.
And it's interesting talking about the players coming in for this, the specialists, because there is a good chance that this is the only time we see Mitach and Emerald Ages in this entire match. And like the extra stress put on players when they're only in for one pick and they have to do well on it, got away on them a little bit. So we'll see how they hold up over the course of what is a very long map as well. This is 4 minutes, 22 seconds. It's the second longest map in the pool outside of the tiebreaker. So the extra little bit of nerves from knowing that your entire purpose on the team is to play this map. We'll see if that affects either of them, but so far, it is just a 31k lead for Virginia off of the early break from Twilight, who is struggling just a bit. 96 AC as well. 94 on one tabby, so if that break were to come out, the score could drop quite a bit, but for now, 3 FCs for Virginia, gonna see what kind of lead they can build up.
Now, the same can be said, though, for Emerald Ages, right? First map of the match for Emerald Ages, and generally doesn't play too much more for New York outside of this low approach rate stuff in these later stages. So what was said about one tabby and Mitach, basically just this one map, also the case for Emerald Ages. And then there goes his combo as well, actually. Does find the break there. It is still a 3-way full combo for Virginia right now, holding the perfect combo on all 3 members. Taquito to match one of those FCs, Twilight on a good recovery combo, but the score lead going to start to go pretty quickly in the way of Virginia. Another break to come out for Emerald Ages as well here.
Yeah, and we are reminded that last week had the free mod 1 of Aishite that was a low AR, very difficult, awkward reading map. Virginia put up the best score of the entire week on that. Clearly a team that is better at reading than it may be commonly believed. You don't look at that roster and necessarily and think of reading as their top skill set. There's a lot of other things that come first, but a team that is quite able to put up good scores on maps like this, and they're showing that off here again this week. Triple FC with a quarter of the map remaining, 340k lead. Very, very impressive stuff from Virginia. Also, I do want to shout out Rectagon and Taquito, who are the Perma Lobby players, have had to go from all those mechanics maps, all that high AR stuff, and now going into this low AR 0 and both holding on to FCs into the ending, which is impressive in its own right, as well as Mitach and One Tabby coming in for what may be their only map, and also both holding on to FCs.
Yeah, and this score lead now here, last sliver of map left, about an eighth of the pick remaining. Even if you see a 3-way break for Virginia at this point, I don't think it matters. There's just too much of a score lead. Now nearly 500,000 in their favor off the back of this 3-way full combo. Absolutely ridiculous team score for Virginia on this. This map being a very low star rating pick, being a practice map, right, has had some very good team scores of the weekend, but I don't think it's had any 3-way full. Oh, one tabby! Come on, man. You ruined it.
You ruined it. Surely Mitach and Rectagon will not break at the very end. We'll at least get a double FC, and we do. So just to contextualize this, we've had this map 100% pick rate now. It's 3 out of 3 matches. Texas put up the best score of day 1 at 2.3 million with a double FC on Wowie, and I believe that's an FC on Toybot. Virginia just supplanted that at the top with a 2.7 million. So it seemed like an incredible score from Texas gets outperformed by 400,000 points by Virginia here. And it gives them a very, very important break point here as we come into the later stages of this match. Now up 5-3, can give themselves a match point with a successful pick here to consolidate. And they're just going to say, back into DT pool we go. Let's finish out this DT pool. Let's make sure we pick 4 out of 4. And it is going to be Mad City as potentially the final pick of this match for Virginia. If they can win it, give themselves a match point, who knows? And oh man, this is such a sick map to watch, honestly.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. It's got to be a little bit jarring for Rectigon at the very least, because he's coming back in the lobby, right? It's got to be a little bit jarring, at least for him, to go from AR0 to AR 10.5. The same can be said for Taquito, who I'm sure has left the lobby alongside Rectigon to go play the map in solo for a little bit to just make sure that they aren't misreading because of the huge jump in approach rate going on there.
This is going to be a record, right? I'm sure that there has never been an occasion where you went from AR0 to AR 10.5 from between 2 maps in a tournament before, right? Like, there's no way.
It has to be, yeah. Oh my gosh. Anyway, this map, it's kind of DT gimmick, but it's also kind of just DT aim, right? Like, it's a lot of slider jumps, it's a little bit gimmicky, it's a little bit control focused, but at the end of the day, a lot of the jumps in this map are slider jumps, so a lot of it is going to play like DT aim. That said, it does still feel gimmicky while you're playing it, right? It is a little awkward. A lot of these jumps aren't very straightforward, so it is still going to be relatively tricky to deal with this sort of a map very easily. But Virginia, with a lot of very good DT players, New York as well. I mean, both of these teams have picked a lot of DT, have picked a lot of speed. They've been picking the mechanics over and over again here. So Rectigon RNG failing in for Virginia, Taquito, Pez, Twilight in for New York. A little surprised to not see Freddie Benson on that roster with how high the approach rate is, but Twilight obviously a very, very good slider DT reading player. So I think that roster choice still makes quite a lot of sense for New York here.
Yeah, I think as far as, DT picks go, this is the type that out of the 4, Freddie Benson would certainly have the most trouble with if he was going to have trouble with any of them. So yeah, not entirely surprised to see him out for this, but it is going to be the early break from Twilight, so hopefully that change in roster doesn't come back to bite them, as Failing and RNG are going to trade a couple of misses out. Still the early goings here, not even a quarter of the way through, but it's going to be the double FC on Taquito and Pez making up the difference here as a double miss comes in again. Never mind. Oh my God. The lobby is gone. Let's just reset it all. 400 combo in. Nobody's got anything, and that is just going to be a dead even map.
Huge full lobby reset. I didn't even see exactly what everyone broke on there, but massive full lobby reset there. Twilight, RNG failing, and then Twilight again missing in that order here. So a couple of more misses for Virginia. Combo lead on the side of New York with Pez and Taquito matching Rectigon's combo. But combo growing once again for both sides at the moment. Accuracy generally pretty even, except for Rectigon up there at 99.5. At the top left of the lobby. So accuracy advantage there for Virginia. Twilight going to find another miss as well. And so now the combo lead New York had building is all gone. Twilight again with another slider break. So it's just miss after miss for New York, unfortunately, as the combos for Virginia about halfway through now start to build back up once again.
This is going to get very interesting into the back half of the pick. Kind of the style of the map changes up a little bit. There's the break from RNG a couple times. You've got to look at Rectigon failing, but those combos on Taquito, Pez matching them. So we'll see if Twilight can build some combo back up to try to bring this over. But I'm kind of just stuck here staring at Rectigon's accuracy. Finally does drop below 99 right as I say that, but still best in the lobby by 1.5% or something. Pretty incredible stuff there, and I actually think that's what was keeping Virginia in the lead. Is there's another break from Twilight. The battle, it's I'm gonna sound really rude for saying this, but it's a little bit of a wet noodle fight between RNG and Twilight at the bottom scores on this map. Neither of them has had a great amount of success building up combo. It's just like get a couple hundred combo and then drop it, and then the other one gets a couple hundred combo and drops it. Meanwhile, the other 4 players building quite a bit, but there goes failing, and now combo lead to New York as Taquito and Pez are holding still, as Rectigon doing everything he can for Virginia, but that's not going to be enough against a double 1K combo.
Virginia really could not afford that miss from failing. As you said, RNG and Twilight are having a lot of trouble building up combo on this map. And there goes Rectagon as well. It's just over now. This breakpoint going the way of New York here. Double 1K combo for Taquito and Pez on the pick from Virginia. And suddenly New York with the opportunity to bring us right back to even in the match and tie us up 5-5 with their next pick. This map really already a foregone conclusion at this point.
Yeah, that's just a really solid pair of combos coming in this back half of this map, keeping alive on Taquito and on Pez. See who can hit the ending. Not Taquito, as it's going to be a break for him. Pez bring this on home into the last moments, into the triples. No, he breaks on the little back and forth buzz slider, but nonetheless, man, 759k, one miss, plus maybe a couple slider breaks. Taquito combo gamed. Yeah, it's a B rank, but 593k is still better than anyone on Virginia except for Rectagon, and still a very, very solid score. And that is indeed New York getting the breakpoint back. This match has been topsy-turvy every which way around, but it's going to be New York with the opportunity, as you said, to tie it up with one pick left per team. And now we might actually see something different. There's no DTs left. There's no raw mechanic. Wait, I lied. There's no mod 3. Surely they just coin flip no mod 3 here, down 5-4, right? Surely. If you're ever going to do it.
If you're ever going to do it, now's the time. Now's the time to do it, New York. Will we hear their dads after hearing their moms were pregnant?
Also, notably, still hitting 3 on the board. Little surprised that hasn't happened yet, considering the New York first picked the hidden 1 and won it by nearly 300k, and they've left the hidden 3 just kind of sitting there for, reasons that they know, of course, but I'm not entirely sure as to. It feels like, yeah, it's low AR, but it's another hidden kind of aim-heavy consistency pick. Taquito will be probably good at that. You can bring Emerald Ages in, who, looked more or less solid on the low AR. I don't know. It's an interesting spot to be in with that one still available. Like, we could just, switch up the AR again as well. Go from AR 0 to AR 10.5 back to AR 8. Like, why not?
Nope. It's going to be something else entirely. It's going to be the free mod 1.
I forgot this map existed. I'm not going to lie. I forgot this map existed in the pool. So you were still going to get mechanics. I'm sorry. Yep, my bad. I forgot about this map.
Mechanics, if memory serves, though.
There's a lot of streams in this one. Some very challenging flow streams, but a decent amount of aim as well, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So 200 BPM. This is CS 4.3, by the way, and AR 9.6. So absolutely way more difficult on Hard Rock than on Hidden. Once again, in the as was the case for the previous mechanics map in the free mod pool. So likely to get very similar mod combinations from both of these teams. Almost certainly Rectagon on the Hard Rock, almost certainly BTMC on the Nomad, almost certainly failing on the Hidden, with another mechanics pick coming in here for Virginia. New York, who actually picked the map though, almost certainly Taquito on the Hidden, probably Freddie Benson on the Hard Rock, and then assuming Pez or Twilight play this map for New York, which I don't think too many other people on the team are realistically coming in for this. Maybe Opixe, but realistically Pez probably, or Twilight over Opixe. And actually it's Twilight and Pez over Freddie Benson, so likely the Pez Hard Rock Twilight Nomad here.
Freddie Benson has felt a little bit hit or miss today in the maps he's been in for. Was their bottom score on the other free mod on Monochrome Voice, but had just top scored the DT3 for them on the previous map, but had bottom scored for them on DT2. Like, I don't know what his level is today. It feels very inconsistent. And when you're trying to tie a match 5-5, maybe just finding a player who feels a little more consistent on the day could feel like a high value proposition. But indeed, we'll go in, and the mods as anticipated once more. And we'll see if New York can tie this up for one more time. Another run through of a couple more picks. This is a very long pick, notably just shy of 4 minutes. Offers you a lot of opportunities to have trouble with flow aim, offers you plenty of aim patterns as well. And it is going to be, I think, a battle once more. It feels like every map has been fought hard.
Both of these teams completely fine through the intro. Bit of an act lead here for New York. 99 on both Taquito and Twilight. No 99s on the side of Virginia. BTMC and Rectagon on the 98s there. And 97 for RNG versus the 98 from Pez. So Nomad and Hidden Player for New York doing some work in the accuracy department. But again, that can only get you so much score. We're just waiting on some combo drops right now through this kind of in-between section. Not super difficult jump patterns, still missable, but you would definitely call a miss here a little bit on air, unfortunately. Now into some more difficult aim patterns, into some of these other higher spacing flow aim streams. Some tough corners on that one as well, but everybody making it through so far. Still the 6-way full combo here in the lobby as everyone doing completely fine on this map. No troubles, it seems like, for either team, for any member so far. Just the accuracy advantage now actually in the favor of Virginia. There go RNG, Pez, Taquito, all breaking at the same time. BTMC, Rectagon still holding, Twilight still holding. So FC advantage for the side of Virginia, and halfway through, that's a huge deal. If they're able to hold on to combo for an extended part of this map, this just becomes unwinnable with the timing of those misses from Taquito and Pez.
Yeah, very, very brutal to have misses right in the center. Even with RNG trading one of them out, double FC is important as always. And this is just kind of feeling like the run back of the other free mod, right? Where it was Rectagon and BTMC holding the giant combos for so long. And once more, it's happening again on this pick. And it's Twilight on the Nomad doing what he can. New York, though, gonna need some help. Still a third to go, still plenty of time, but as you said, the score caps coming into play on Taquito and Pez, and those combos staying alive for Virginia for so long. Lead not getting huge yet, so you can still keep some hope alive for New York, but it's going to need to be one of BTMC and Rectagon, and they're both looking pretty solid. 99.4 on BTMC on the Nomad, and just under 99 for Rectagon on the Hard Rock as we get into some of these tricky solo streams. The flow patterns in here really challenging. But for now, it is all members holding. Wait till the little, there's a little cut stream that'll come up here. We've seen breaks there. Nobody broke this time, and those combos just growing massively. Wow. This is getting terrifying.
It's already terrifying, man. 240,000 score lead for Virginia there. They all make it through the 1/3. Everyone in the lobby holding there is ridiculous. Both of these teams at a really high level on this map, but unfortunately for New York, just not quite high enough. Those misses right in the middle spelling doom for them on this pick, and Taquito now finding a break here near the end as well. Rectagon will drop the Hard Rock full combo, so it's Twilight versus BTMC. Pez also finding a drop on the Hard Rock, though, and backing up BTMC is RNG on the hidden recovery. Missed at the same point as Taquito and Pez, but able to hold here at the end and secure the win by what should be well over 400,000 points by the end of the map. 99.6 act for Ed going into the ending here on the Nomad full combo, set to top score of the lobby. And this is a huge break point for Virginia. This was New York's pick, and now Virginia up 6-4, up match point in winners finals with next pick to close it out.
The clutch factor of BTMC. Who would have thought? You just never seem to know, but he comes through when it matters most here in this finals. Gives them the match points. Very, very impressive performance. 99.64 act Nomad FC. Really impressive. Very solid stuff. And now New York down to their last life. Have to get a break point. Have to win their own pick. Have to win tiebreaker. Virginia match point on their own pick. Not a lot left here to choose from. Nomad 3, Hidden 3, Hard Rocks 2 and 3, and Fremod 2. I feel like this is arguably just a Hard Rock 3 angle. Just go from a consistency streamy aim map to a consistency aimy with a couple bursts map, because that seems to work for them.
All right. I'm just waiting on the last pick here for Virginia, or what could be their last pick. If New York managed to... Actually, yeah, just the last pick for Virginia. If New York do take a break point, they get their own last pick here. They get access. There's no timeouts here, so I don't know exactly what the issue is for New York, but Yeah, not sure exactly what's going on.
I mean, there's not timeouts here, and even if there were timeouts, they wouldn't be 5 minutes long. Like, respectfully, unless this is something like life concerning, that's not really something that's ever, like, I've never seen a tournament with 5-minute timeouts. So I'm not really sure what the story is with Taquito here. Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know if it's yeah, we're gonna go Hard Rock 2. So it's gonna be the Hard Rock Alt instead of the Hard Rock Aim, which I kind of expected the Hard Rock 3 here, as I said. But, you know, this HR2 is, like, kind of some snappy aim alt.
Yeah, very different from a lot of the maps that we've seen in this match so far. Most of them have been those mechanics picks. Not a lot of pure aim picks, though, notably. Right, the 3-mod 1, mostly stream mechanics. The Hard Rock 1, mostly stream mechanics. The DT2, somewhat aim mechanics, yeah, alongside the DT3, but a lot of that was speed as well. And, of course, the DT2 was high approach rate, so very different from that Hard Rock 3. The Nomad 4, of course, stream mechanics on that map as well. There really hasn't been any normal aim consistency picked by either team. I think largely because Hard Rock 3 is really the only normal aim consistency map in the pool outside of something like the DT2, which again, high approach rate, it doesn't always translate very well to that lower BPM outside of the DT pool. So maybe just feeling a little better on some of the snappier Hard Rock alt focus here for Virginia.
Well, we're going to just go in with no Taquito is what's going to happen. So, wow. Down match point, no Taquito on this pick is a scary situation for New York to be in.
Yeah, now New York. Thank you, Pez. Now New York with backs against the wall. Opixe, Freddie Benson, Pez in for this pick. Rectagon RNG failing here for Virginia to try to close it out. This is their last pick as well, right? This is their last opportunity to close this cleanly. 7-4 looks very one-sided, but in this case, it would be only one breakpoint difference between these two teams. Early break here for Freddie Benson for failing as well. So combo lead overall on the side of Virginia, failing a little bit ahead in the combo. Pixate also finding the break now for New York. The accuracy a little better for Virginia, 98 on Rectagon RNG. RNG, though, finding a slider break, so combo now a little bit better for New York, but there goes Pez on a slider break of his own, and suddenly now it's just Freddie Benson versus the FC from Rectagon and a better recovery score from failing. We're only a quarter of the way into the map and already tons of breaks all over the place from both teams, but for New York, more of them on their side. And another break from Freddie Benson and Opixe, and this is looking very, very good for Virginia, very bad for New York on this map.
Yeah, this is looking like it might be end of the road here for New York in this match. That lead is going to grow pretty quickly with the big combo still alive for Rectagon and failing, and yet more breaks for New York coming from Opixe. It is the miss, though, from failing in RNG. Freddie Benson, Opixe, though, traded out, and Rectagon just doing Rectagon things. Pez going to try to put together whatever combo he can, but there's just not much you can do down a couple 100,000 points, and with an FC on the other side still holding, your teammates not able to support you as Pez. And man, oh man, what a rough situation to be in here for New York, dropping the break point, and then Taquito having whatever issue called him away and not able to get back in time, I guess. And you're still going up against this juggernaut in Rectagon, so it may not even have mattered at the end of the day regardless. Rectagon still holding the FC at the halfway mark, 454k on his scorecard already, and a 250,000 point lead. We are looking to see Virginia going back to the grand finals, it would appear. With every passing moment, it seems to be a little bit more guaranteed.
Yeah, last year's winning team looking all but secure in the top two finish and in the winner's bracket advantage in grand finals this year, as unfortunately New York just not able to put up the same kind of combo that Rectagon is having here. That said, RNG failing are both on 300k, so There is a miss from Rectagon. Maybe Pez can pull it back. Maybe Freddie Benson can pull it back. There's the miss from Rectagon. Another miss from Failing as well. It's only RNG now. And suddenly this looks a lot closer. RNG does have some combo, but needs to hold it in order to keep this on the side of Virginia. If RNG misses, maybe there's enough time. I don't know that it's going down fast enough, though. It's still over 200,000 score in their favor, and just a little bit of map left. Failing with another couple of misses, and unfortunately for New York, I think Opixay just too uncomfortable with the map, as Pez and Freddie Benson putting up some pretty respectable scores. 640k for Pez right now, 500k for Freddie Benson, matching RNG on the 500k for Virginia. And Pez nearly matching Rectagon here as well. Should be able to pass him by the end of the map, but the difference there between Failing and Opixay, those two supporting scores, Failing up near 400k, Opixay down at the 250k, and that is going to be the difference maker. Virginia take it with the overall more closely grouped team score. They take the match 7-4 off the back of a single breakpoint, and they advance to the grand finals.
Yeah, just an impressive performance for Virginia, clutching out matches when it mattered, or clutching out maps, I should say, when it mattered most. That huge score from BTMC on the free mod 1 to get them that break point, and then just a solid team score here on the Hard Rock 2 to close it out. And man, with that gap only being 104k, you gotta wonder behind the scenes there with Taquito, who knows. New York, though, still alive. Not going to be eliminated by this, but it is a bit of a heartbreaker of a match that it felt like could have gone their way, right? Remember, we think back, they were up 3-1 with a breakpoint and a consolidation. It felt like they could really make some noise in this match, but Virginia, 4 picks in a row and 6 out of 7 after that point, coming through when it mattered most, with Rectagon and BTMC and the rest of the squad playing their roles. And they will move on to grand finals. They await one of several teams still. Nothing guaranteed yet from the loser side. It's going to be New York awaiting either SoCal or NorCal. But Virginia, despite the back-to-back tiebreakers, despite being pushed all the way to the brink in quarters and semis, looked a little bit more decisive here when it mattered most in this winners bracket final.
Yeah, it was honestly a big performance from Rectagon and from BTMC that I think decided this. Rectagon played all 11 maps for Virginia, top scored 5 maps in the lobby overall, and that kind of carry performance really does a lot to bring a team up and above the bar needed for victory. A lot of the maps came down to a Rectagon carry or a Rectagon matching the best score from New York. On the side of New York, though, still a very closely fought match. Again, 7-4 looks somewhat one-sided when you think, oh, that's a 3-point difference. But in terms of the picks, Virginia having first pick means that New York only lost 1 breakpoint in total in this match. Net 1 breakpoint loss.
Net 1 breakpoint, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously there were more breakpoints overall in the match, but net 1 breakpoint loss for New York. So overall, still very close. Pez and Taquito, kind of the dynamic duo there for them. Pez top scoring 3 maps in the lobby overall, which is very, very impressive again for somebody who's really only been on the come up this year and this summer within open rank tournaments. So keep an eye out for Pez in that losers bracket finals, alongside obviously Taquito, Twilight, Freddie Benson, all having very, very good performances in this match for New York.
Yeah, I'm very excited to look forward. This, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this matchup again in the grand finals. But first, we got to get there. And so this is the only match in this particular block. We have 1 match left here in the finals weekend. We have South California versus North California, winners last night, matching up once more. The in-state rivalry feels like it shows up with quite astonishing frequency here in USC. One of them will be eliminated. The other one moves on to top 3. Will it be Utami in his return to tournament play, leading SoCal to top 3? Or will it be NorCal with Window Life, who's looked so dominant in this tournament so far, making their way into that losers final matchup against New York? That one will be coming up to UTC, 10 p.m. Eastern tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific. You will not want to miss out. Winner of it gets top 3, goes into grand finals weekend. Virginia, though, congratulations to them. They'll be sitting atop the podium for the moment, looking down from the grand finals winners side, having that bracket reset advantage in their back pocket off of this win. So well done to Virginia. Commiserations to New York, but best of luck to them next week. And best of luck to both SoCal and NorCal. A match that you won't want to miss. The rekindling of a classic rivalry that's spanned the entirety of USC in just a few hours later on this evening. I've been this one guy. Thank you all for watching. Thank you to Dio for the commentary. Thank you to everyone involved on the staff side of this match as well. It was a very exciting one. Very glad to be a part of another great winners final here at USC. But for now, we're going to be going on break for a few hours. Come back tonight, 2 UTC, 10 p.m. Eastern, for the last match of finals weekend. Losers round 7, SoCal versus NorCal, on the other side of a 3.5-hour break. We'll see you then.